Okay, before we start this video, looking at a couple of examples of calculating the area of a triangle, I just need to say that, hey sisters, welcome back to my channel. I think that's what you wanted me to say, and that is a huge shout out to a bunch of students who I lost a bet to, so good on you guys, and hopefully you can keep doing well in your tests and making me say things in my videos that make me sound ridiculous. Cool, let's talk about this formula. The area of a triangle, of any triangle, equals half times a times b times sine c. Now there's a really important thing that you need to remember. A and B here are two adjacent sides of a triangle. Not adjacent, don't get confused with that word. Just any two sides that are next to each other, A and B. The important thing is that this angle C has to be the angle that is in between these two sides. So sine C, C is the angle that is between the two sides, and that is really important. As we saw in the last video where we discovered how we arrived at that rule for the area of a triangle. This here, if that's C, if we put an angle in here which was not this C, the angle between A and B, then it would not be this length h which we were calculating, and so the formula would fall down. So the important thing to take away, this is the formula to remember, but the angle has to be the angle in between the two sides. So let's do two examples. The first example is this one here, where I've got a non-right-angled triangle. The side lengths, the adjacent side lengths are 4 meters and 6 meters, and the angle between them is 70 degrees. So that's very straightforward then. The area of that triangle is a half times A times B times the sine of the angle between them. So if I plug in my numbers, that's a half times 4 times 6 times sine of 70. So I'm going to put that in. Half, so 0.5 times 4 times 6 times sine of 70. And I get that my answer is 11.28. And that needs units, of course, which in this case is meters squared. This second example here is the one that I want you to look out for, because in this case, the angles that I have are not, neither of these are the angles in between my side lengths. So I've given you an example here of an isosceles triangle, where it's got two equal side lengths and two equal angles. But to use this formula, we need the angle that is in between the two sides. So we're going to use the fact that the angles of a triangle, the interior angles always add up to 180. So if I do 180 minus 50 minus 50, then that's going to give me 80, which means that this angle here is 80 degrees. And now I can use my formula because I have the angle that is between the two side lengths. So the area of this triangle will equal a half times 5 times 5 times the sine of 80. And if I plug that in, a half times 5 times 5 times the sine of 80 degrees. And in that case, the area of this triangle is 12.31 centimeters squared. There you go.